of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, The Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. He said also unto me, Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
Don't cry, baby. Don't cry, baby. Dry your eyes and let's be sweethearts again. And oh, 'cause you know.
Cry. Something I cry for you.
Tammuz was the son of Nimrod. His name is Sumerian, meaning the faithful son. Of all of Nimrod's sons, Tammuz was the most like the father. He was a mighty hunter. His coat was like his father's, one of death and resurrection. After his father's untimely death, Semiramis became pregnant. This child was said to be Nimrod reborn. The Sumerians saw a regular cycle of decay and growth in nature. They saw the death and regeneration of the sun, of Mother Earth, and patterns of rain, drought in Mesopotamia. Tammuz's cult was connected with the pantheon of the sea. Tammuz did not have his own temple. His services and rituals were held inside of his mother's house, Inanna, or in Adonis's case, the temple of Ashtoreth. The temple of Inanna was called the House of Heaven. One service goes as follows. For the far removed, there is wailing, ah, my child. The far removed, my Damo. The far removed, my anointed one. The far removed for the sacred cedar where the mother bore him. And Inanna, high and low, there is weeping, wailing for the house of the Lord. They raise. The wailing is for the plants. The first lament is they not grow. The wailing is for barley, the ears not grow. The service was attended by men and women weeping. Another part of the ritual is to throw grain and plants into the waves. The ritual was accompanied by doleful cries and music of flutes. This is the style of music started by Nimrod, the pastoral music. Tammuz was also well versed in this style of music. Tammuz and Inanna were both known as Kadi. Kadi is a serpent deity. They were both represented as serpent heads popping up from among flowers from the shoulders of Mother Nature. Tammuz was the beautiful youth who died and was mourned for a while, only to come back to life. The weeping ritual was connected to farming. The tears watered the field. The blood of Tammuz was the fertilizer that enriched the soil during the flooding season. Pigs were sacrificed for Tammuz. Osiris was always associated with a pig. Egyptians annually sacrificed pigs to Osiris. Set hunted a boar in the delta marshes. He was probably hunting the boar form of Osiris. Set also had a boar form. He ate the waning moon and blinded the eye of Ra, the constellation.
Find the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion. Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his season, or canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons? Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth?
Orion was called Tammuz by the Babylonians. Orion was the son of Poseidon and a princess from Crete. Orion was able to walk across the waves as a result of being the son of the sea god. Orion walked across the sea and attacked one of the daughters of the king of Crete. He was blinded as a result. Orion, aided by Vulcan, and had his sight restored. Orion then hunted with Artemis. Artemis later fell in love with Orion. Apollo noticed Orion swimming with only his head visible. Apollo challenged Artemis to take the shot. She did and killed Orion. Orion was then raised to heaven as Candace Major and Candace Minor. And that's where Cyrus the dog came from.
It's a mic out there.
It's magnificent. Very peaceful.
Which one's yours?
Right there. The brightest. It's a constellation we call Canis Major.
Must be strange to be so far away from home.
Yeah, it is. New friends make it easier.
Similarly, Eros shot Psyche in the heart to make her fall in love with him. She died. I believe that these two versions are an attempt to give Tammuz a warrior's death. He was an archer and a horseman, just like his father Nimrod and his grandfather Cush. A boar was sacrificed to Tammuz for payback for the death of Tammuz. Tammuz died from a tusk of a wild boar. The wild boar was captured and dragged before the queen in chains. The boar begged so pitifully that it was an accident that the queen released the boar. Other pigs were killed at rituals for Tammuz. The ceremony was called the Wailing of Tammuz, and it occurred in March or April. The Sumerians believed that the serpent mother came from Sirius, and it's at its closest point on April 11th. Sirius is associated with the constellation of
They have to use astrology to figure out when Easter is going to be every year. I'll explain that.
Orion. The Babylonian Lent began after the spring equinox. It lasted 40 days. The Egyptian Lent was also 40 days. The 40 days was because of the 40 years that Tammuz lived at the time of his hunting accident. The queen and the people mourned Tammuz for 40 days. After the 40 days, there was a great feast. And you guessed it, the pig was the guest of honor as dinner.